Hi, Cheryl Mays from Rise and Shine, presenting a segment of the Author's Lane. I am so excited that you are here to join me today, and I want you to come back every day, Tuesday through Friday at 3 p.m. I will have a new author that will talk about their book. They'll talk about their inspiration, their motivation, and why it was so important for them to get this book into your hands. So it's a great opportunity for you to meet an author, which is the premise of this segment, is to actually get to meet the author and to be able to find out what other books are there out there that you might not have heard of, and you want to put it to your book list. You want to add it to your book club. You want to make sure that you have this book in times of need. And so this is going to be an exciting segment because I have a friend of mine. She's a friend of mine that's coming on today. Not only a friend of mine, but she's also, we are in the same mastermind group. So accountability is important. So I am going to bring on Miss Whitnie Wiley. Hey,
hi, Carol. How are you?
I am well. How are you doing today?
I am great. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, guys, this is Whitnie Wiley, and Whitnie is, as I stated, a friend of mine. So I'm always happy to have friends of mine that have written books and are part of books that are actually able to come on to the show and share with you. And she's also, as I stated, in my mastermind group. So we hold one another accountable.
Absolutely. It's very important.
Exactly. You have to have someone that says, did you? And if not, then why?
Exactly.
So very important. And that's what we do for one another. There is a group of us. So I am excited to have, when you actually saw another one of our mastermind, actually two of our mastermind group, you saw Tyra Hall, where she actually introduced her book, 5% of Power. And you saw, The Power of 5%. I can remember that. And you met Miss Jody Santangelo Ash, and she talked about dynamic affirmations. So you see, I hang around with incredible women.
Right? What did they say? That proximity is power, right?
There you go, right? Exactly. And if you missed it, we did a segment, Reset for Success, where we actually talked about the individuals that you surround yourself with.
Yes.
So I am excited to be able to bring Whitnie to the audience today. And so, Whitnie, you are the founder of Shifting into Action. So Tell us, what is that organization?
So basically, I am a coach consultant, and we're going to be talking about my work as an author today. But a coach and consultant, I work with organizations and individuals in groups and one-on-one coaching, helping create work and environments that people love, workplace environments that employers create that their employees are engaged in and participatory in that. So, what's important is that we have work that we love. And you talk about this in terms of the mind shift, right? We get to decide whether or not work is a burden or work is something that we love. And I believe that everyone has that opportunity. You can love the work you do by some of the things we're going to talk about later. Starts with your self-awareness, what it is that's your purpose, your passion, understanding your values and priorities. Those things go into helping you figure out what work is for you. And so I help my clients to figure that out and then help them chart a path to get to where they want to go. And as it relates to organizations, doing it from the other side, which is to understand the culture of their organization so that they can create places that people want to come and work. It is a partnership, really, between employers and employees. It's not one or the other, right? Because a great culture is one everyone wants to be in.
Yeah, that is so important. To your point, I always talk about a mind shift.
Yeah.
And a culture is so very important because that's how people make their decisions that work for you. They make their decisions based on the culture. And believe it or not, if there is no culture, then that is the culture.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things that people don't stop to think about, right? Is that everything I do and everyone that's in an organization, like our mastermind group has a culture. It's a culture of encouragement and support. And we work to make it be that way. Mm-hmm. Your work environment can be the same way, or it could not be. It could be toxic. It could be inviting, encouraging. And so it is the intentionality of the people who are part of whatever system to decide what the culture of that system is going to be.
And I think that's so important, especially for employees, because like you said, you want to go to work and you want to, as you're pulling up in the driveway, you want to go, oh, yay, today is going to be a great day, instead of going, oh, my God.
or even before that, right? When you wake up in the morning, and my work comes from a place where I spent a lot of years working for organizations that I did not enjoy, doing work that I no longer had passion for. And there were mornings when I woke up and I was like, I can't. I was like, I just can't. This is robbing me of my spirit, my soul. And I was just like, I can't do this another day. And I started working on a plan so that I could remove myself, one, from that situation, but to start doing work with other people to help them to realize that they didn't have to be in work in organizations that they don't enjoy. And, one of the things that happens is we get a job, we're excited about getting that job. Mm-hmm. And then when we start to see things, red flags, we just kind of buy into, well, this is where I am, I'm going to stay here. Or in my case, in the case of lots of professionals in particular, you spend a lot of time and money getting education, mm-hmm. right? Studying to be, in my case, I was a lawyer and a lobbyist. I spent extra years after college, right? Getting a law degree, studying for the bar. And there's a part of you that's like, I've made this investment, I'm going to stick this out. And we don't need to do that. Life is too short. And I think there's one of the things that 2020 has taught us. And I know when we came into 2020, we were full of excitement and 2020 vision and all this, feeling of opportunities. And then it started to change. And we get to the season that we're in right now with the COVID. And there's just a sense of, what am I supposed to be doing? What, how can I do what I'm doing? How can I continue to do what I'm doing? Can I work for an organization that doesn't support me, that is, not looking out for me? And again, it just doesn't have to be that way. So I've taken the experience I had personally and the experience of lots of clients that I've worked with and come up with a way to help people figure out how to move past being in an environment that isn't feeding their soul, doing work that isn't really working for them, and to move them into another space.
It's so interesting that you say that, because there are so many people that have that stuck feeling.
Yes.
You're just stuck. You don't have, or you feel as though you don't have the abilities. You're not seeing the opportunities. You're not seeing any place else for you in this organization. And so you're just stuck. I always share with my clients that one of the worst nightmares of any organization is when your most passionate person goes silent.
Oh, yes. Yes. Right. and so I think it can be worse than just having people leave, right? Mm-hmm. It's worse to have employees who stay, who should have left, than to lose employees that are gone. And when leadership understands that there actually is something worse than people leaving, which I think they think is a bad thing, right? You lose out on the return on investment of training and, what you put into hiring them. But if they leave, you at least have the opportunity to replace them. If they stay, they're infecting the organism. And I'll be honest, there was a period of time, I was probably a virus in the organization that I was in. It was bad coming at me, and I was giving it back. And there came a point in time where it's like, Whitney, you can't go on. And it was for me. I didn't change for the organization, but I had a realization that I was going to continue to be unhappy if I didn't choose to be happy, if I didn't choose to create within the boundaries, I guess, of where I was. If I did not create something that worked for me within that environment, I was going to continue to be miserable. The one thing I think I had going for me is I have a really strong work ethic, and I was determined to continue to do quality work regardless of how I felt. I did, but I was not, I don't think, a good coworker to be around for a long time. So,
it's so interesting that you said that, because I've been in an environment similar, right? Where we go in and we're so happy. We want to, we love the mission, which is why we said yes.
Or it should be. It should be.
Exactly. Right. But then somewhere along the lines, you see that there is a disconnect, or there is something that is not allowing you to feel like you're appreciated, that you're valued. And so you just stop doing things and you just start going, yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Right. It's fine. That above and beyond, right? It's like, well, why would I give my above and beyond to people who don't appreciate it? I had it. Here's an interesting thing. I was going through coaching training. I don't know, somewhere maybe a year into really feeling like this wasn't the situation wasn't working for me. And my coach in one of the sessions said, why would you let anyone keep you from being who you are? And I had a light bulb moment. And I was like, well, I wouldn't. And she says, but you are. Right? You are. And I had to really look at myself and look at the situation. I was like, yeah, I have. I would go into the office. I would close my door. I would do my work, but I cut myself off from the outside because I felt the toxicity was such. If I didn't close my door, it was weighing me down. And, it's hard. And I think a lot of people can relate to this right now. When you start to feel weighed down and overwhelmed, it's difficult to be at your best. And I think the work that you're doing, the work that I do, I think coaches in general, that's the point, right? Is to help our clients not have to feel that, and to realize that there's another way. And I think that is a lot of what the book that we're going to be talking about. I think that's the point of the book. And, it's developing habits that allow us to rise above what's going on around us.
And that's so important, because we're going to actually segue now into the book, because we were talking about leadership, and, leadership plays a huge part in the culture.
Absolutely.
And so now this book, One Habit for Success, and it is actually the Smart Femme Summit Special Edition.
Yes.
So there is a book prior to this.
Yes, there are several. It's a series. It's called the One Habit series. And so there are, I think, 2 books that came out that were published prior to this one. And then there are a number of books that are planned that will be coming out in the months ahead. They are compilation books or anthology books. And this particular one has 30 authors. And we've each contributed one habit that people can take on that will help change them, change their families, change their workplaces, environments. My particular habit specifically goes to the concept of leadership and being a successful leader. But there are all kinds of habits that are mentioned in the book. And the suggestion is that you flip through the book, pick a chapter that resonates with you, instill that habit, and then move on to the next one.
So gradually, step by step,
yes,
you're seeing how your habits are changing to be more successful habits versus unproductive and unsuccessful.
Absolutely. Because the reality is we all have habits, right? We almost everything we do is by habit, and we don't stop to think about a lot of what we do because it is a habit. So, a habit just means it's something that is a shortcut. Our brains are designed to protect us, to be efficient and move us through things so that other systems in our body, or other components of our body system, I guess, can use that energy for the functions that they have. So if our brain can get us to do things kind of by routine, routine, and doesn't have to think about it, our brain will move us in that direction. So take, for instance, well, maybe not right now for most of us, but a lot of us who are still driving into work, we pick a path and go to work on that same path. That's a habit, right? Every day you get in the car, you kind of take the same path because in your mind, and proven by experience, it's the most efficient, quick, effective way to get there. And when you need to do something else, you have to stop and think about it. I have an example of when I was in law school, I went at night and got out of class about 9:30, quarter to 10. I lived about 40, 50 miles away from the school. So after class, after having worked all day, full-time day, driven an hour and a half to get to school, and on my way home, an hour and a half to get home. I would get home some nights and I would be like, I don't remember passing through Vacaville. It was on the route getting home. I was like, I don't remember driving through Fairfield and Vacaville to get home. And the problem was I was on such an autopilot. I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. I was kind of driving by memory, and that's not a good thing. So the point is, habits are with us. Habits aren't really good or bad, but they are more, are they working for you or not working for you? And so the point of this book, and there are other books about habits, is that you need to find habits and develop habits that work for you, that help you move where you want to go. And if a habit is not productive or it is not serving you, it's something you should let go, which in this book is called an unhabit. So we have a habit. Each author contributed a habit and an unhabit. So something that you can build that will that enhances your life, and then a unhabit that you would do to improve your life by letting something go that you no longer need.
And so in your section of the book, you talk about that because you talk about leading by example.
Yes.
And the habits of a leadership. And you said there are 6 factors.
Yes. So I have developed a system I call the Simple Leadership Method. And it is based on very much being in touch with who you are and what you have to give. So SIMPLE is an acronym. It's for self-awareness, intentionality, mastery, purposefulness, leverage, and energy. And it's everything, I believe, starts with understanding who you are and what it is you want. And that's self-awareness. And once you've done that, then you can work through the other 5 components of the 6 total in order to be a successful leader. So let's say, as it relates to intentionality, what is your intent as a leader, right? Everyone has to look at who they are as a person and as a leader. And you have to decide, are you going to be the kind of leader who empowers people? Mm-hmm. Or are you going to be the kind of, and I use this word leader in this respect as a position of authority. Mm-hmm. I don't believe leadership is about positions of authority. It's about influence. It's mm-hmm. about empowering people, building them up and helping them to become better than they could be or to reach their potential. But mm-hmm. in a lot of organizations, leadership is a title. It's a position. And if that is your approach to leadership, you're going to have a very different result than you would have if you recognize that while I have authority and I have power to make people do things, I'm going to take a different approach. I'm going to be about empowerment. And when you are intentional about how you approach leadership, it makes a difference in how you lead. Mastery is about understanding not just what leadership is, but mastering your emotions. So it's a lot of emotional intelligence, mastering your emotions, mastering your communications and the way you interact with people, and mastering, and not in a harmful way, but mastering relationships, because ultimately leadership is about relationships, and you can't have relationship with people that you don't relate to. You can't have relationships with people you don't communicate well with. So all of the 6 are intertwined. Then purposefulness. What is your purpose as a leader, right? And these are questions that everyone has to ask. I was educated in the Jesuit philosophy of leadership. And the bottom line is that we're all leaders all the time. It becomes a matter of what kind of leader are you? Mm-hmm. And so how do you make the determination, again, of what kind of leader you're going to be? What is your purpose? Is your purpose to, grind people down, or is it to lift people up? That's the decision that only you get to make as a leader. And then leverage. Are you going to leverage the skills, the abilities, the strengths of the people that you're leading? Are you going to leverage that? Are you going to leverage your own knowledge and skills and ability? Or are you looking out for what these people can do for you? And then energy is about bringing the sum total of who you are, your energy to the group, and harnessing the energy of those in the group so that as a team, you can go further than any one piece can go alone. So that's the simple leadership method in a nutshell. And so.
Well, I think this is, guys, this is a great book. I mean, if you are, to Whitney's point, if you are interested in becoming a leader, if you are a leader and you're looking at your skill set and wondering why your team isn't, being productive, or wondering why your team is not coming to you, is it General North, I think it is. He actually said, when your soldiers stop coming to you, it's because they no longer have faith that you can help them, or it's because they believe you don't care. And in either case, that's bad leadership.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think people will go the extra mile when they know you care about them and they care about you. When you are working, you mentioned mission earlier. When you have a mission that you're all working towards together, when you take your vision, or you create a vision that's a shared vision, right, with your team, everyone feels a part of that. Everyone knows their role and what they have to contribute to the greater good, the greater whole. people are willing to go above and beyond for that. But if they're not getting, I don't want to call it warm fuzzies, but if they're not getting that, they're not going to give extra, right? They're going to come. If you're lucky, they'll do what they're supposed to do, and then they'll leave. If you're not lucky, they won't even do that. They won't even do what they're supposed to do. And you'll wonder why things are falling apart. Well, they're falling apart because you've created an environment that doesn't encourage people to bring the best of what they have to offer to the benefit, and the best of what they have to offer for the benefit of the whole.
And that is so important. Now, we can talk leadership all day because I know
it's one of your favorite subjects, right?
So I'm trying to let you talk, and I'm going, okay, don't say anything. This is her segment. Okay. But this is such a great segment. I just think it's so important. And, you hear the term servant leadership so often that sometimes it can seem a little clichéic. But when you really dive into what that servant leadership is, and that is to truly serve those that are around you, serve your team, to support your team. I always used to tell the directors that I worked with is that if you want your team to run through the fire with you, they have to know that you're willing to go too. And
go first.
Yeah.
Right. And go first.
It's so important. Guys, I'll tell you, I keep telling you, you never know who you're going to get on the author's lane, and you never know what you're going to come across. And this is awesome. The reason why I love it is because you don't have to be a leader in an organization.
No.
You have to have a mindset of being a leader and using these habits to help you and those that are around you. This could be a great book for a student. If you are a student and you're working with students in a school, to teach them how to think through things for the benefit of others, and the result will be beneficial for everyone. So this is a fabulous book, and it is available on Amazon.
It is on Amazon. You can also get it at onehabit.com.
I'm going to put that right here, onehabit.com. But you also get this on Amazon. And I always ask authors a couple of questions while I'm putting this in here. Is it One Habit is one word?
Yeah, the number one habit and then .com. Yes.
You got it. So here's what I always ask, because people are looking at they're looking at books, they're looking at the opportunity to be a part of an anthology. And so this has actually helped you get in contact with some other individuals that are, in various fields of organizational development or in various fields of leadership, speaking engagements, all of that. So the relationships that you get from being a part of this is so immensely important.
Absolutely.
So talk about how being a part of this book has helped you in what you do in your relationships with the individuals that are a part of this book.
Sure. So, I'm a believer, not just as it relates to leadership, but in life, that service is kind of the keystone, the cornerstone of relationships. And to be in service of other people is a good thing. It is not a burden. And it's an opportunity for not only building relationships, but to build and improve and hone skills. And so one of the things that I have done, taken up, is to interview each of the authors, the contributors to this book. And so I am actually reading, I'm not just an author and say, hey, I'm part of this book, would you buy it? But I am reading each of the chapters and understanding the habits that the other authors have offered up. And then I'm having conversations with them pretty much like we're having right now, talking to them about the habit and how they actually are using it in their businesses or their lives. It's one thing to, as a parent, as a friend, as a mother, daughter, or whatever, people with relationships, we often will tell people what they should or shouldn't do. And sometimes we don't actually do them ourselves, right? So, and talking with the other authors, it's like, how are you actually using this, in your life, in your business? Many of them are business professionals. So how do you use this in your business? Mm-hmm. Because I think it's important for people to understand this is not just lip service, that these people are walking the talk and actually putting into action every day the habits that are in the book. And, one of the things, like my unhabit, is not making assumptions. That's something that I work on every single day, is to, and as a lawyer, I think I was trained to try to get the evidence, to get the facts before drawing a conclusion. But I have found myself, particularly in my personal relationships, sometimes you get a nugget, you hear something, and then you're off with a conclusion. And that doesn't always serve you well in relationships, because particularly if you end up being wrong, and you're acting as if the conclusion you've drawn is correct, it creates tension in the relationship. So I think being able to have conversations with the other authors, understanding kind of what their motivation was for their particular habit and how they're using it in their lives, helps me grow. And it allows me to be of service to them and all of us in getting out and promoting the book.
That's amazing. So you're conducting these interviews on a daily basis. Where can an individual find these interviews? What is your site? And I want to put that up here onto the screen also.
Okay, awesome. So the One Habit business page here on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, go to One Habit. There is the business page, and every day. The times range a little bit because we've got authors throughout the country, but in the middle of the day, generally you can find it. And then of course it's available on replay. So One Habit group, the One Habit page on Facebook. I'm also posting them on LinkedIn. You can find them on my LinkedIn page, which is linkedin.com/in/Whitnie Wiley. And so the interviews are posted there as well. And I have posted them on YouTube in order to use them on Facebook. So you can find them on YouTube. I would say on my YouTube channel, but I didn't know I had a channel, but it's there because people are actually making comments about it. It was like, oh, I was just using it as a place so that I could have a link for LinkedIn, but you can actually find the interviews on YouTube.
There you go. So you have an opportunity to get this information in multiple platforms, and you have an opportunity to hear the other contributing authors of this book by going to the business page on Facebook at One Habit. So there's no excuse.
Nope.
When you are looking at the fact that you want to drop your name in the hat, when the opportunity arises, you want to be prepared. And this is one of those things that will actually allow you to do that. And where'd you hear it at? Right here on the Author's Lane. That's where you heard it. And you
Can
heard
I
it
offer up one opportunity since you mentioned it?
Absolutely.
So if someone wants to be an author and part of an anthology or part of the One Habit series, there are a number of different subject matters that are in the works. You can find that information at onehabit.com. But I am going to be, and I'm working through the process now, I am going to be co-author of a One Habit book. We're going to be talking about careers. And so if you are someone who has taken control and ownership of your career, whether it's in a business or as an employee of an organization, I am going to actually be looking for contributors for that book. And if you want to become an author and the prospect of being a best-selling author, we would love to have you. And you can contact me just to let me know, either here on Facebook or I don't know if you're sharing in comments or somewhere contact information for me, but you'd be able to contact me about that.
Oh my gosh. Listen, you just heard it right here. If you're interested in being a contributing author in the area of careers, you got an opportunity to get your name in a book with some established authors. That's awesome. Come on, for your first book or your second book, whatever number it is. It's still very cool to be able to do that. So thank you for offering that.
Absolutely.
So here you have it, guys. One Habit for Success is available on Amazon. Please go to Amazon, get the book. There are several books before this. There are books that will be coming behind this book. Yes. So you have the opportunity to keep up with these authors, continue to get this information so that you can better your program, your organization, or just yourself individually, whatever the case is. So thank you so very much, Miss Whitney Wiley.
Bunch it all together, trying to be really efficient with that, huh?
Exactly. Just call you WW.
Well, it was a pleasure,
so much
Cheryl.
for joining us.
It was a pleasure, and you're doing great work with the Author's Lane, and I appreciate the opportunity to come on and chat with you.
Well, thank you so much. Don't you go anywhere. I am just going to say goodbye to the good folks. Thank you guys for joining us. Here's the book right here. This is what the cover looks like, so you don't get confused when you get to Amazon or when you go to onehabit.com, which is right here on the screen where you can actually get your book. One Habit for Success. Listen, you never know who you're going to meet on the Author's Lane, so you have to be here Tuesday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then at 8 p.m., there is an Author's Lane watch party. Now, I will share this with you. There are some incredible changes coming up down the pike, coming up the stream, up the river, whatever it is that you want to say, whatever terminology. But stay tuned because we have grown, we have gotten bigger, we have gotten better. And it's all because of you. And it is because of the authors that have come on to share their inspiration, their heart, and their motivation and their skills. And so we are very, very excited to be able to make an announcement in a couple of days. So stay tuned, but definitely join us back here at 8 p.m. I look forward to being here. Hey, at 8 p.m., this is when you get to ask questions. If you want to know more about being a part of the upcoming Habit for Success, One Habit for Success, you get to ask questions then. I'm going to put all of this information into the comment section, but get your answers at that same time. That's a great opportunity, and it's an experience. So I look forward to seeing you again. Once again, this is Cheryl Mays from Rise and Shine, presenting the Author's Lane. Have an amazing day.